Welcome to Judah Experience, and this is a 5-minute fix. And my name is Bain, and today I want to talk to you about a story that's very familiar to all of us. It's the story found in 1 Kings chapter 18. It's when the prophet called fire down from heaven from Mount Carmel. And we love this story, and we often talk about this story because it's awe-inspiring, it's phenomenal. I mean, fire come down from heaven. But do we take time to see what happened before that? What does that even mean for our life? What relevance does that have to me today? Now, the first thing that the prophet did when Elijah was ready to call fire down from heaven, when he was ready to sacrifice, he called everyone together. And that is something that we have to do. We have to, when we are ready to see a next level, to see a next experience with God, we have to call our entire being together, to call all of us together. Because sometimes, truth be told, you are committed to God in one area, totally committed in one area, and the other area, it's not so much. But no, we have to now call everything, call our entire being together and say, this is what we're going to do. Pay attention to this. He was competing with the prophets of Bain who were shouting and screaming, and the Bible says they were so intently trying to call down Baal that they were cutting themselves. Elijah had to calmly get everyone's attention and say, everyone gather around me. So we have to call our entire attention and our entire being to God and say, we're going to rally around God. We're going to rally our finances around God. Our finances are yielded to Him. Our time is yielded to Him. How we spend our entertainment is yielded to Him. Everything is yielded to God. And then what did He do? Right after He called them together, He took the altar that was broken down, that was torn down, and He repaired it. We now have to, when we are ready for another experience and another level in God, we have to up our devotional life. We have to make sure that our altars are now repaired and our altars are intact. And He even not only put the altar together, He named the altar. He said, this altar is dedicated to God and the God of Israel. And here's a sneak peek. When you dedicate your altar and your time with God, your identity is going to come out, your true identity. Because sometimes we think we are, but who we think we are is not who we are. But who we should be is who we would be if we dedicated our altar completely to God. I know that sounds a little mixed up, but who we think we are not. But who we should be, we would be if we dedicated our entire altar to God. And the Bible talks about that He neatly laid the wood on top of it. We have to bring things into order. There's some things in our lives, yes, it's dedicated to God, but we have it dedicated all over the place. We now have to have order. And sometimes that's hard for us to do. The order may be, again, in our finances. The order may be in how we spend time. The order may be in how we even allocate how we even allocate our clothes. We may need to get our closets in order. But it's the thing about having order. When the prophet in the Old Testament, when God spoke to him with the valley of dry bones, and there was just dry bones, everything had to be in order. He prophesied to them. And when He prophesied to them, it caused everything to order. Bone fit the bone. And there was order established. And after there was order established, then the breath of God, then the Spirit of God was breathed into them and they became alive. So, one, we have to bring our full self into attention. Then we have to dedicate ourselves to God, dedicate our altars to God. And again, we have to put everything in order. There may be something in your life that God is speaking to you to make sure that it is in order. Okay? Now, after that, what did He do? This was the time of sacrifice, the time of evening sacrifice. And what did Elijah do? Elijah went, he put a sacrifice on the altar, which was an animal. That was the usual, the common sacrifice. But he did something else. He went and he told the people, I need y'all to go get me barrels of water. It didn't make sense because it was like, oh, now Elijah, you showing off. You stunting on these prophets. You calling down fire, but you want water. Until you realize they were in a famine. He wasn't just stunting, he was sacrificing. He was giving the ultimate sacrifice. In a famine, he was wetting up the sacrifice with water. And not just was he wetting it with water, when they measured the water, they didn't measure the water in gallons, the way you think you should measure it. They measured it in seed. They realized that the sacrifice of water was a seed. It was only a seed. We are sowing a seed into what we expect to see coming. But that's a little deeper on into it. So now you don't have to be afraid to sacrifice. You cannot be afraid to sacrifice when you want to experience another level in God. And now after that, he did all of that. They soaked it up with water. They dug a trench. They soaked that up with water. And then he said, you know what? Do it again. And then he said, do it again. That brings me to another point. We have to be consistent and persistent in seeking after God. We have to be consistent and persistent in sacrificing to God. And the Bible said when the time of sacrifice was there, when it was that time, when the timing of earth met with the timing of heaven, everything collided, and then you had, boom, fire falling down from heaven that consumed that consumed everything, that left nothing. And that's what we want. We want the fire of God to hit our lives and consume everything, where there's no more us being seen, but only God being manifest in us, and the sons of God being manifest in this earth. And so, as he did this, there was a turning of the hearts of the people, and they went from worshiping Baal to worshiping the one true God. So that's what our experiences should be. It should be a turning of our heart. So I hope I've helped you in this 5-minute fix. I hope it gave you some level of, edification. And if you do like it, look out for even more 5-minute fixes with Judah. Thank you.